Hey guys, this is Nick and welcome to my Linux experiment. These are your Linux, open source and privacy news for the first half of May 2020. This month we have huge advancements to the Firefox password manager, the release of Inkscape 1.0, Life Alyx releasing natively on Linux and Halo 2 working on it, and some concerns over Huawei's contributions to the Linux kernel. Let's take a look at what happened right after this. This video is sponsored by Linode, the largest independent cloud computing provider. Linode makes it easy to create your own secure personal space on the internet. Just about everyone needs a website these days, but if, like me, you've used simple drag-and-drop website providers, you know they tend to lack customization, lock your website onto their platform, tend to be pretty slow, and charge extra for basic features. Linode makes it as easy as possible for you to deploy enterprise-grade WordPress, Drupal, or even static websites in just seconds with their one-click apps. These apps basically give you the same tools that businesses use and allow you to truly own your content, make websites that are ultra portable, and ensure you only pay for what you need. So level up, start building your website, your projects, or personal blog on a platform you can trust with Linode. Sign up today and get $20 in credit on your new Linode account using the link in the description. May the 1st. Mozilla released Private Relay, a Firefox extension that allows you to generate email aliases that redirect to your real email address. These aliases can be removed at any point to stop receiving any email communications and avoid spam and persistent newsletters that you just can't seem to unsubscribe from. May the 4th. Inkscape 1.0 was released after 3 years of development. Inkscape was already super stable and usable, but this 1.0 milestone marks a big step for the open source vector drawing app. This new version brings better performance and a native version on macOS 10, which used an X-Quad server before. It's built using GTK3, so it supports high DPI and custom themes, icons and fonts. A lot of the various tools and features have also been improved, and while these changes are completely beyond my understanding, you should take a look at the release notes if you want to learn more. May the 5th. Starlabs, a computer maker, now ships its laptops with Manjaro. They designed their own hardware and already shipped various Linux distros, but Manjaro is no part of their roster. If you're looking for sleek-looking devices running Linux out of the box, these machines have a wide range of prices and configurations, although they only come with QWERTY keyboards. Firefox 76 was released, and it strengthens the browser's security even more. If your saved passwords have leaked or have been reused, the password manager will issue a warning and prompt you to update your password. It can also auto-generate strong passwords for you and save them to the password manager, so you can forget about them and sync them across devices. With these changes, it seems that their Lockwise password manager might be one of the best available out there natively in a web browser. May the 6th. It seems like Linux usage might have doubled in April, as reported by Marketshare, with a full 2.87% of desktop market share compared to 1.36% in March. It seems to have been driven by Ubuntu usage being multiplied by 7. Such a huge spike might mean that either some Linux distros weren't correctly accounted for before, or maybe it could also be a reporting error, as already happened before, but it's still encouraging to see the Linux desktop growing, even if it's still the smallest player in the field. As I've said previously, we don't need 50% market share to make sure Linux exists in the desktop landscape. 8 to 10% would be largely enough to foster developer interest. Ubuntu Studio announced that 20.04 will be their last version to use XFCE by default, as they will be switching to KDE Plasma for 20.10. They cite the fact that KDE has better graphical tools for digital photographers, better Wacom tablet support, and is now as lightweight as XFCE out of the box. This change will, however, require users to fully reinstall their systems when they switch to 20.10, as system upgrades will result in broken systems. GNOME 3.36 added an option in the app launcher to start applications using a dedicated GPU and hybrid graphics machines, but this feature is now part of the free desktop specification, so other desktop environments can now implement it as well. It also means that users will be able to set these apps to always start using the dedicated GPU instead of having to choose that option every time they launch them. Let's hope KDE Plasma, Pantheon and other desktop environments make good use of that new specification. May the 8th. Wine 5.8 was released with support for plug-and-play device notifications, more progress on the Wine Direct3D Vulkan backend, and the usual bug fixes, namely 44 this time, including for GTA 4, Total War Shogun 2, Warcraft 3, Darksiders or Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. May the 12th. Halo 2 was released on PC as part of the Master Chief Collection, and the single-player component runs on Linux with Proton, just like Combat Evolved, which makes 3 Halo games playable on Linux, as incredible as it sounds. As always, multiplayer doesn't work because of anti-cheat, which is still a big pain point for Linux gaming. I'll probably be playing both Combat Evolved and Halo 2 on my gaming channel, the Linux Gaming Experiment, although probably not on legendary difficulty since I'm terrible at games. May the 13th. Huawei submitted a patch to the Linux kernel called Huawei Kernel Self-Protection, supposed to harden kernel security, with a big problem. It seems that this patch would add a trivially easy to access vulnerability in the kernel. Now, any other company would only have been suspected of having overlooked it, but since this is Huawei, a Chinese company, there are concerns over the voluntary nature of that vulnerability that could act as a backdoor. Huawei has since denied making this contribution and stated that it was made by a Huawei employee on his own time, which has been confirmed by the employee as well. Whether that was intentional or not, it's certain that some companies' contributions will be more scrutinized than others. Linux is now the most used platform on Azure, Microsoft's cloud service. Linux-based systems account for 60% of all used OSs on the platform. And while that's not surprising, since Linux has always been king in the server market, it shows that even customers turning to Microsoft for their infrastructure prefer using Linux-based servers. Maybe that will finally put a rest to the Microsoft hates Linux statements. May the 14th. The city of Munich in Germany is switching back to open source software. They had already made the switch to Linux before going back to Microsoft solutions, and now they're turning around again and moving to open source software. There is no word on which software they'll use precisely, or if they will move to Linux again. The mistake they had made in the past, in my opinion, was using a custom distro called Linux, instead of one of the already available, well-supported distributions with commercial support, such as Red Hat or Ubuntu. Let's hope they don't repeat that mistake. The new version of Ubuntu Touch has been released based on Unity 8, also called Lomiri. This new over-the-air update brings a lot of good stuff, with a new home screen, a lot of small tweaks to the theme to make it pop a little more and bring more contrast, and a ton of web browser improvements. Support for multicolored notification LEDs is now implemented as well, and it can be used to indicate low battery charge or simply notifications. If you already have a device running Ubuntu Touch, you should be able to get the over-the-air update in the device's settings. May the 15th. Life Alyx is now available natively for Linux using Vulkan. It released at the same time as modding tools for the game. Valve warns that the game will work best with AMD GPUs and drivers, since the Nvidia drivers on Linux lack a few features for VR that will make the game less enjoyable. If you've already played the game using Proton, you can uncheck the Use Steam Play box in your game's Properties windows, and Steam will simply download the Linuxy bits to replace the Windowsy ones. And that's it for this video. If I forgot anything of note, let me know down in the comments. If you liked the video, please consider liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications. If you really did like the video, I have a Patreon page. Patrons get to enjoy a monthly Patroncast where I talk about Linux, gaming, and some personal stuff, and they also get to pick the topics on which I will work next, so take a look using the link in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!